Long Haochen was able to come back to life thanks to the help of Elux and the Heart of Eternity. Kair became the disciple of the Holy Necromancer and inherited the Tower of Eternity. It's hard to imagine a happier outcome. And yet, just recently, we saw Long Haochen's death and wondered how things would turn out. Will Long Haochen be able to regain all his strength? And what about Hao Yu? Will he return? That's an interesting question, but we'll explore it a bit later. To be honest, Kair actually gained even more than Long Haochen. Previously, she had nothing to do with Elux until the day Long Haochen was killed by the god Emperor Feng Xiu. She never thought that she would ultimately inherit most of Elux's power. Although the power of necromancy itself wasn't passed on to her, the immense death energy stored in the Eternal Melody, along with the Tower of Eternity itself, became the best tools for cultivation. Elux said goodbye to Long Haochen and Kair. He said that if he had wanted to, he could have become a god a long time ago. By the way, a movie about Elux has already been announced and will be released very soon, on April 30th. In it, we'll see Elux's full story from the very beginning, when he was the Son of Light, and what led to his transformation into a necromancer and disaster. It will be very interesting to get to know this character more deeply. So, Elux used Kair's scythe of the god of death to completely purify himself. His soul released a powerful white energy, which was then absorbed by Kair and her companions. Her level instantly reached the peak of the 8th tier, and shortly after that, the 9th. Long Haochen was still sitting and meditating. The Heart of Eternity entered his body, taking the place of his heart. When Long Haochen's heart was destroyed by the god Emperor Feng Xiu, the spiritual energy in his chest was practically shattered. At that moment, even if he was brought back to life, his entire cultivation basically needed to be restarted. After the Heart of Eternity fused with him, it immediately became the connecting point between all the other spiritual cavities. Light energy smoothly flowed through Long Haochen's entire body, restoring his original development. This recovery process happened rather quickly and was already complete by the time Kair returned with her friends to the 7th floor of the Tower of Eternity. When Long Haochen's spiritual energy returned to the 8th level, huge changes began to occur in his body. The Heart of Eternity was truly filled with an extremely pure light essence and used the blood vessels of the former Son of Light, that is, Elux. Since Long Haochen was also a Son of Light, the fusion was almost perfect. And throughout this process, Long Haochen's spiritual energy continued to grow. During the reconstruction, major changes occurred. The biggest and most direct change was in color. Long Haochen's Heart of Eternity was golden in color, without the slightest red tint. For 3 days, every member of Long Haochen's team was in a state of deep cultivation. The energy in the Tower of Eternity was truly too pure, too vast, and it could significantly boost the power of the entire team. When the heartbeat resumed, a powerful force instantly surged through Long Haochen's entire body. Not only did the amount of his mana increase, the fusion of the two great bodies of the Sons of Light caused Long Haochen's innate spiritual energy to exceed its original limit. Now the number surpassed 120. In other words, Long Haochen wasn't just an heir of light, he became the embodiment of light itself. His light essence was nearly indistinguishable from the divine descent of the Goddess of Light. No one in this world could compare to the purity of his light. As for his mana, Long Haochen discovered something astonishing. The internal spiritual energy in his body managed to break through 100,000. Yes, that corresponds to the legendary 9th rank. Had Long Haochen become a divine knight? But surprisingly, he didn't feel even the slightest sense of a breakthrough. And the reason was that all this 100,000 spiritual energy was contained only within his Heart of Eternity. At first, he didn't truly reach the 9th level, even though his power surpassed 100,000. To break through from the 8th to the 9th level, one must create the 10th spiritual cavity after the 9th. In practice, his spiritual cavities still hadn't reached that number. Only his spiritual energy had broken through. This miracle was related to the Heart of Eternity. With it, the capacity wasn't 100,000, but 160,000. So although his spiritual energy was progressing, his development stage hadn't yet increased. Just imagine, an expert at the 8th level, but with a strength of 160,000 units of spiritual energy. When Long Haochen's Heart of Eternity pulsed, his spiritual energy volume reached the full 160,000. His development stage was still at the 8th tier, but his power completely reached the 9th level. It was just missing some formalities. One could say he even surpassed the 9th level in terms of strength. The Heart of Eternity, gifted to him by Elux, not only increased his spiritual energy reserve but also greatly accelerated the rate at which he could absorb it. He could take in energy several times faster than others. This meant that breaking through to the 9th level was only a matter of time. When Haochen's heart was fully restored and began working at full power, it affected the entire Tower of Eternity. The amount of pure energy within it sharply increased. The other members of his team also began to rapidly grow stronger. But soon, they faced an obstacle. Their spiritual cavities had reached their limit, and further growth became more difficult. Although there was plenty of energy, the creation of new cavities required comprehension and personal effort. External resources couldn't help here. Nonetheless, even with this slower progress, their cultivation in the tower was much faster than outside. In fact, according to the original story, Long Haochen, Kair, and their companions will stay inside the Tower of Eternity for a full 4 years. Everyone in the Night Temple and Assassin Temple is already worried about Long Haochen's team. But when they return, they shock everyone with their new strength. Long Haochen, 9th rank. Kair, 9th rank. That's truly incredible. Hao Yu was also briefly mentioned. What happened to him? Where is he, and will he return? We'll cover that in future videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.